Here is the most famous palace of the entire south region of Cameroon. The building dates back more than a century. The palace of late Zenker has become the symbol and the greatest curiosity of the city of Bipindi. The first German who lived here in this camp was called George August Zenker. He left a huge cocoa farm. He was the first to plant cocoa that we have in Bipindi today. George August Zenker was a German botanist that arrived in Cameroon as colonial administrator and was attracted by the natural beauty and fertility of the soil of Bipindi. Five generations after his death, the building still attracts many tourists from Germany, Switzerland, France, and so on. In 1992, Bipindi was created thanks to a presidential decree. Since then, we started to work alone, independent from Lolodov, our former headquarters. Bipindi became a district by a presidential decree in 1992. Bipindi is very far away from its former prosperity when the city, thanks to Zenker, had become the largest commercial center in the South region. It was a beautiful city with many streets. Everyone could move around with his car, but these roads no more exist. The ones that you find here are no more good, even for bikes. Bipindi is located at an hour and 30 minutes drive from the deep water port of Kribi, 3 hours drive from the international airport of Yaoundé-Simalène, and 3 hours from the international airport of Douala, the economic capital of Cameroon. Although the city has lost its economic dynamism, its potentials are still obvious. The city hall is the only jewel that we have here in Bipindi. Then there are some old buildings, as you can see. For instance, the former city hall that we want to transform into a city banquet hall. In the city of Bipindi, we have many schools. There is a high school, 23 primary schools, 9 health centers, a district medical center, and 3 nursery schools. I think all the state services are also represented here.
Tous les services de l'État sont représentés ici.
A vast territory with 15,000 souls, a rich basement with gold and iron, a very fertile soil and beautiful relief made of mountains and valleys, a deep forest with various species of trees and animals. Bipindi is watered by 3 rivers and characterized by its diverse and hard-working population.
Parmi les richesses de Bipindi, il y a cette population qui est très...
Among the main attractions of Bipindi, there is our population, which is diverse. The diversity is favorized by the geographic location. As I told you, Bipindi is an area of 1,727 kilometers square. Here we have many tribes such as Bassa, Ewundu, Fans, Ngumbas, and Pygmies that are the first to occupy this place. There are also tribes such as Bamileke, Hausa, and strangers coming from countries such as Mali, Nigeria. All these people live in peace and harmony. We are all brothers, everybody speaks in his language and others understand, and vice versa.
On a des Maliens ici, on a des Nigérians. Tout ce beau monde-là vit de façon harmonieuse dans la paix et dans la concorde. On est tous des frères et chacun s'exprime en son patois et les autres comprennent sans problème et vice-versa.
The various cultures and traditions interact in a peaceful environment favorable to tourism and economic activities. Bipindi is a rich and unique tourism destination with potentials that are still to be exploited.
Bipindi regorge beaucoup de...
As far as tourism is concerned, Bipindi has many attractions. We have the pygmies, the first inhabitants of the forest. Tourists come here to visit their camps in the forest and see how they dance. Our pygmies are very special in their dance, different from what we find elsewhere.
Parce que nos pygmées ici ont une particularité dans la façon de danser qui n'est pas identique à celle que je vois ailleurs comme à l'Est par exemple.
In Bipindi, there are two categories of pygmies. The first is found in the forest and still attached to the primitive ways and traditions. The second is found in this center, where 80 pygmies receive a modern education. This center is concerned with the pre-scholarization of young pygmies. Children that come from the forest are trained here, then sent to ordinary schools around, where they can attend primary and secondary schools. Apart from the pygmies, the forest is full of animals such as monkeys, reptiles, and birds, as well as waterfalls. The Bichoka waterfall is the most important in the area, with 80 meters height.
À 10 km du centre ici, là, une belle chute. Ici.
At 10 kilometers from the center, you have the Bichoka waterfalls, very marvelous and spectacular. The state gave us some years ago some means to build a hall for tourists that visit the waterfall. This hall is still operational. It needs some works to make it more comfortable. But the waterfall is a wonderful sight that we entertain every day to facilitate the access. People come, and honestly, I never saw people who go unsatisfied from here. You can see that the nature is there, and the falls are better than everywhere. Even the low-bay waterfalls are not as beautiful. So when tourists come here, they always find it better.
Mais ce n'est pas entretenu.
The development of tourism begins with the improvement and infrastructures that stands as a priority in the development plans of the council.
Il y a un problème de voirie qui se pose.
There is lack of roads. You know, when a city does not have roads, it's no more a city, but a village. But the roads are there. We just need to improve the quality. That's all. Unfortunately, our resources are not enough to face these investments. Among the main projects of the council, there is the construction of a sport and recreational area, the construction of a municipal hall, the improvement of distributions and access to safe drinking water through the setting of a station water treatment according to the council emergency plan, for which the mayor is looking for partnerships. The current water collection system refuels the city without guaranteeing safe drinking water.
Ici, c'est un captage simple.
Here the system is simple. Water comes from the mountain, enters into this pipe at this level and goes further, and there is a filter in there.
Système de filtrage.
The city of Bipindi is actually connected to the national electricity network, but the council is looking forward to improving the street lighting based on solar energy in order to boost the economic development. Investors and partners are also expected for the exploitation of the outstanding Pichoka waterfalls in these perspectives.
Il y a le potentiel.
There is a potential. I told you about the waterfall. We did a study that shows that the Bichoka waterfalls can produce more than 1 megawatt of electricity, which is enough to cover Bipindi. Someone can invest in this in such a way that population will be satisfied and the investors will also make profits. The municipality of Bipindi also plans to develop agriculture. In the 2014 budget, it is included the creation of municipal farms with a cassava processing plant and the acquisition of a municipal forest whereby timbers will be transformed in Bipindi. We have timbers. Investors can also exploit our forest. We can set up a processing factory here so that our timbers will be transformed locally. To reach the economic growth, the Council's resources are still insufficient. Therefore, the Mayor and his collaborators are looking for national and foreign partners and investors. For Bipindi is still a place where history, people, and nature give room to great ambitions and opportunities.